July is right around the corner, and you know what that means. The TF2 summer update is almost here, and Valve will be selecting maps for us to play on and hats for us to gamble and buy. However, as you may all know, something new has been on the horizon since late March. I am talking about Project Offshore. This community-made update is looking to bring back maps and cosmetics that fit with the theme. In this case, we'll be getting wet and wild by visiting oil rigs, oceans, and submarines. The team credits last year's fan update, Tropic Crisis, as being successful in bringing a South American theme to TF2, whereas in previous years, we wouldn't receive anything in terms of maps, just a random selection of hats with no theming. Even in 2023, where we did receive maps during the summer season, they were all random in terms of the regions we went to. Despite being unofficial, Tropic Crisis focused everyone's attention on some South American themed content, which most likely caught Valve's attention and increased the chances of said content being added to the game. Despite being welcome to South America, this project really wanted us to go to Brazil. The hell is you are gay anyways? This all sounds great! If the community keeps us up, then we'll be back to having themed updates again, thanks to the help of these workshoppers and content creators. Before I get drawn and quartered, please like the video, and subscribe if you want more aesthetically pleasing videos like this one. It will help artists like me from going extinct. Now, here's where I have a few problems with this new up-and-coming trend. I don't want to be cynical, but is this really the future that we'll be seeing for the next few years if Project Offshore receives the same amount of success that Tropic Crisis got? I love the idea of having a summer update with a theme, but the problem that I have is that we are allowing anyone, or maybe just whoever with the largest influence come along and say, "Okay guys, we're making a push to have this as our theme this year." Project Offshore got announced less than 2 months ago, March 24th, 2025. The team sent out their message saying, "Hey, we're doing what Tropic Crisis did, but with the ocean. Go and make stuff and we'll pick whatever to showcase it to Valve in hopes of it getting added." Do you really think that less than 4 months is long enough to create a map to fit with their theme? Designing the map, modeling it, texturing it, creating custom assets if you want it to be unique, making sure that it actually plays well with playtests. Do you think you could make it work between late March to late July? You better hope you already had a map in the works, or you already had a marine themed map completed and ready to be showcased. I feel bad for the individual workshoppers that will be shafted by this project. Oh boy! I built this Guatemalan themed map, and my friend created a neato looking taco item. Cool beans! I can't wait for Valve to notice us and maybe pick us! Tough luck, kids. All of the attention will be placed on the items that fit with 2027's Middle Eastern theme. Their content will still be in the running, and eligible to be selected by Valve, but it will be harder to compete with the items that had an entire presentation behind it. So you better hope we go to Central America in the next few years, where we can smash our tacos, or you can create your own themed project for others to join in on. Wait, here's a problem. What if we get multiple projects? Who is Valve gonna listen to? What if you wanted to go to Central America, but another project wants to focus in on a garden theme with plants? Actually, a garden theme sounds dumb. What if I don't want to go to a garden, or a flower field, but we are forced to when half of the workshop becomes filled with them, and stupid dumbo flower hats? I guess we're stuck with that theme for that year. Personally, I want a map that's themed around the Mayan pyramids. Make it a player destruction map where you need to deposit the souls or flayed skins that you gathered to please a Mayan god. However, I would prefer if the map was created out of the love for my culture, and not because of someone in California was in a Discord call and thought, well, we only went to South America and the ocean. The Aztecs and Mayans look like a cool thing to do next. Look at Los Muertos. This map was created back in 2021. One of the most beautiful maps I ever played on, with a lot of honor being placed on the culture and the holiday it's based on. There was no community-driven project that told these creators, "Hey, we're looking for Latin-inspired maps. Make one and we'll showcase it." It feels a lot less forced and more genuine if the individual is allowed to create a map based on their desires, and not having to follow along with what the loudest figurehead is saying at the moment, on top of having a restrictive deadline. The 1% would not give a damn about Egypt or Guatemala unless someone said, "Hey fellas, Our project is gonna be based on the Middle East. Valve's pussy is gonna be ours this summer. And honestly, I can't blame them. They'll go where the money tells them to. People may say that these projects are focused on getting everyone together to show off their creative prowess, and that money is not the motivator. While some workshoppers do have that mindset, bear in mind that these items are being uploaded onto the workshop, the only place where Valve selects items. Valve has heavily advertised the workshop as being a way to make money through TF2. These map makers and item creators have the desire for their items to be selected where they will enter our game forever. I have a hard time believing that most of the items uploaded here is for the sake of showing off their works. I doubt anyone that would make these types of submissions did it as a way to exhibit their love for the game. We have the right to heavily judge their content, as these are essentially products that you and I may not want to interact with. Products that some of us will inadvertently support when you buy a single key. So yes, while I am an artist, I feel as if I'm not judging my own kind. I am judging the workshop as if they are Valve's business partner. And I'm judging the community projects as a sales pitch for Valve to notice, and for us to engage with and not some kind of labor of love. I would not treat other pieces of player-made content so critically, unless money has to be paid to officially interact with them. Plus, these guys make thousands of dollars with each item that gets into the game. I have every right to bitch about the Gnome Dome being in the game, while the TF2 Classic team can do whatever they want. It's no foreskin off my bone. The TF2 workshop does not operate with the same innocence like Gary's mod, Super Smash Bros, or Little Big Planet. Some fan updates, however, do carry an air of authenticity behind them. The Frontline team fostered the creation of World War II items over the course of at least 5 years. A complete animation was created, and a large asset pack was assembled for creators to use. Something worth noting is that this website was created just for the call to action. It was already complete. No maps and no items were presented, except in the collections. The call to arms worked, as the Frontline collection on the workshop has at least 200 items that were created and gathered for the cause. To me, it feels like this team wanted to encourage people to band together and create World War II items as a challenge for the community, a deep desire to see the classes in World War II. Particle Mayhem and Journey to the East were both contests that offered cash prizes, but they still encouraged the community to create items without the expectation of having Valve focus specifically on their content. A point to add on is that the community was still being supported with new full updates. Even if one of them was 9/11, we didn't feel the need to urge Valve to give us new stuff like we are doing now. Regardless of intent, the primary motivator behind most of these workshop submissions is money, not passion. Pure passion is usually found on Game Banana, where people essentially work for free. And whenever there's money, there will be people that will end up having to pay. The user creation side of TF2 has never been squeaky clean, especially when users are able to earn thousands of dollars off of an update that has one of their items in it. On the individual side of what I'm talking about, we had incidents, like a map creator putting a trans rights message on their map just to get a rise out of Zesty Jesus. Workshoppers that are looking to put their items in the game, while pretty much calling you and I, their customers, brain dead and annoying. And items like this being created just to follow a trend in Valve's item selections, with a complete disregard to our experience in the game for the sake of money. Hate the game, not the player. But Jesus, this is akin to seeing the Devil Among Us toy being sold in your church, just because the altar boys know that they'll sell and the priest stopped caring. They know what they're doing. Good job, guys! You made sure it loads into TF2, but it doesn't mean it belongs here. Kinda like how Valve once saw an official community update get mismanaged by 2 people and said, "Okay, nope, that's it. Get the hell out. You lost your fun privileges. Your project proposing kind ain't welcome here no more." A few years ago, actually almost a decade ago, we had the Invasion update. It was essentially an official community update. Valve allowed the community to have their alien-themed items and maps be put into the game. You know, with a theme. Sounds almost like what we have going on now. However, the 2 community members that managed the update felt entitled and wanted a bigger piece of the money generated from the update because they were the project managers. Almost like real life. The update also had to be delayed, which pissed Valve off, and seeing that this community-driven update was so poorly handled by our kind, it left a musky and salty taste in Valve's mouth. Valve has since learned their lesson by no longer adding updates that the community has created as the final product. So you will never see anything like Frontline be added in as Frontline, or Tropic Crisis as Tropic Crisis. However, what makes these current fan update projects different from the likes of Frontline and Invasion is that they're being advertised as an array of items and maps for Valve to hopefully notice for a loosely based theme to occur during the summer update. Instead of taking the whole offshore fruit basket, they want Valve to pick and choose a decent chunk of the fruits in the basket to hopefully get as close as an ocean update as they can. This idea worked, as a considerable amount of the summer update that we got had some Tropic Crisis items and maps in it, for better or for worse. At this rate, we're gonna get pica from all the shit that we've been eating. It was a well thought out marketing idea. By putting their content into a nice themed wrapper, it increased the engagement it saw, which increased the likelihood of them being added into the game. This sounds innocent enough. However, given the previous problems within this community, I doubt the future will be trouble-free for what seems to be a community-driven game. We have seen problems arise with the game in official and unofficial manners inside and outside the workshop. Can you really trust some of the names out there that operate within some groups, or just a random workshopper? I know I would not want these workshoppers to be put in charge of a project that will have a sway in what gets put into our game after what they said. I want community members, not people that hate us. I am not saying that all these mentioned people should not be able to have an item in the game, or that they shouldn't manage a project ever. Unless they did something really disgusting, like ending up in a certain little black book. I'm saying that I would prefer reputable members in control of a project, and that's been hard to come by in the past few years. That it would be best to dodge the bullet. This is no longer a matter of what you'll be getting in the updates, but rather, who can control what you'll be getting in the updates. There are claims out there explaining how the largest TF2 groups like the Emporium harbor a toxic environment and bad actors. Claims including doxing, threatening, and blackmailing others. There is the possibility that a group with bad intentions can use their project as a way to gatekeep and maximize revenue for themselves. To hand this level of influence to a team of random community members is honestly not a great idea. I do not know these project managers, I do not know their true intentions, and I do not know their biases. How do we know that these project managers will not be playing favorites and shafting creators that they do not like by ignoring their created maps and items? How do you know that a project manager will not only select items and maps that they're credited for to increase the likelihood of getting a payday from Valve? If there's a project team that is selecting items, will they put in the effort to showcase items from users that do not have a single item in the game? Or will they intentionally select items from people that already have multiple items in the game? I am not saying that any of this is happening at this moment, but I would not be surprised if it happens with future projects if Offshore is a success. Let me know if you think I'm being paranoid, or that everything that I'm saying could come true when the next summer rolls around, or maybe even this Smithmas. I'm just calling out possible scenarios, given the events that have previously occurred. These projects and third parties do have a level of influence. The big ZJ made videos about the quality content he wanted to see for a Smithmas and summer update. Here's all the relevant items and maps he showcased. Here's what we got officially. Those were just videos. Here are the items and maps showcased in Tropic Crisis. Here's what we got in game. I wouldn't mind having a theme, but it's not like I'm dying over here for one. We should be focusing on items and maps of quality, even if we get a grab bag of whatever when summer comes around. If you do not believe in the amount of caution I'm exhibiting, then I ask of you to just look out the window and see what I see.
All of your fans or whatever, or whatever troublemakers that follow you, go and harass these people. You kind of every single person right now is
you're doing the same thing again, where you're painting my entire audience as this evil.
No, I'm not painting.
Yes, you just said. You just said that all these people who follow me, that you're painting them as this evil amorphous force that goes out to do my bidding.
Oh, dear Lord, baby Jesus. No, not every single person in your audience is probably there's probably a lot of people in your audience that are just
99% of people who watch my content.
I'm not gonna talk about percentages right now. I know
you
that,
and I can both agree that it's a very tiny minority of people that are doing these things.
We're not gonna agree on that.
I actively condemn consistently to not do that.
You are gassing them up by like making this whole thing about like the evil works cabal.
I didn't call them. I never said they're an evil workshop cabal.
Well,
they are certainly a cabal. The Emporium certainly holds a majority stake in what items get in this game. And if you even want to have it, and listen, and if you even want to have a slight chance, and you know this, if you even want to have a slight chance of getting content into the game, you must go through the Emporium. It doesn't automatically write off your chances.
Not. He has helped with the contribution of 17 items into the game, one of which is my favorite. And it's not like the rest are bad, they're pretty decent, all things considered. Unfortunately, I feel as though he is not an upstanding member of the TF2 community. But who am I? Just some animator. We may all have our past issues, inside and outside of TF2, myself included. And opposing viewpoints on the game might cause some turmoil within the community, but we'll make it just fine. But then there's this. I want to be proud of the game, and of those that work on it. But no one will tell me how to treat my fellow Americans.
Okay, hey John,
Okay, so let's just disable this race.
Yeah,
there's no real need for a meeting. And then update the fucking code of conduct because the Twitter got mad.
Yep. Okay, dude. Okay, Tongue Food Service, you need to calm down. Yeah, I'm gonna have to disagree with the word. I don't care what your life situation is, and yeah, I vote to remove you from the team.
Okay.
Anybody else? We need 3 people to agree to that.
3?
I'm not.
Well, me and 2.
I'm not getting involved personally.
Yeah, I'll throw in. Sorry, my Wi-Fi is really lagging out. I'll throw in.
I can barely hear you, so.
Alright, well, Tongue remains on the team. I don't like you, and, yeah, I don't know, man. Shape up. What the f?
Teams of talent, leagues above the workshop, and a strong reach over the community are not immune to internal conflict and drama. Even the most passionate of gamers are not immune to having an air of conflict within their team and operations. The rare rogue staff member can also cause havoc for the rest of the team. Remember what I said about the invasion update? 2 of the 21 people that helped coordinate the update with the rest of the community made Valve shutter the doors to the rest of us. For creators.tf, their bold attempt to bring custom content to the community with self-made updates, completely independent of Valve, came crashing down. One admin intentionally disrupted the game servers due to disputes with fellow staff members. I have a strong suspicion that the person that you just heard is the second person and the main reason why creators.tf buckled and ceased to operate years later the first incident.
What I don't understand though is, how is that more ridiculous than like a Santa Claus petition?
How is it more ridiculous? Like, how is a boycott more ridiculous?
Why is it ridiculous? Why is it like worth saying, no, we shouldn't do that, but it's worth pointing everyone toward like a Santa Claus petition that you're gonna leave at Valve's door? And I feel like that's less realistic.
No, it is. Like, I'm telling people, I'm literally telling people from the beginning that there is a 99% chance that this will not work. And the reason why is just very basic. Okay, Valve makes way too much money to fucking care.
And then that right there reinforces the point that money is the only thing they're going to listen to.
Yeah, but they make...
Right. Why do you guys deserve to be the self-appointed leaders of the TF2 community and charge forward this fixed TF2 shit?
I'm kind of with you there. I don't think I'm particularly qualified at all.
I don't think I'm qualified either.
Neither do I. Neither do I. And this goes back to my point that I said earlier, that this shouldn't have been this forced inorganic thing drummed up by YouTubers. It should just be the culmination of the entire community's frustration with Valve that gets them to do the one thing that matters, and that is stop spending money on the game.
If the largest TF2 tubers struggle to fix the game due to a lack of direction, then how can we trust a few randoms to manage their ability to heavily influence our future content while being professional and not malicious? I mean, seriously, we just finished picking the gray stray hairs out of our teeth that Valve gave us from the whole bot epidemic. If I can't trust Valve, then I cannot trust these strangers to control their influences over TF2's content. Honestly, you shouldn't trust Valve either. An ex-Valve employee has discussed how the corporate structure and incentive to reach for bonuses has resulted in other Valve employees looking to eliminate their coworkers in hopes of fattening up their own bonuses. Please show your support for Vipes. He has made 3 items that are officially in this game. If we are able to disapprove of the actions that some users have done within this community, then we should still show our support to those that deserve it or need it. I fell in love with Valve's TF2 before random forces began to have their way with it. Meet your match, pastime, manpower, the workshop. I am willing to accept the fact that Valve is no longer around to support us, other than the months that we have custody of them. However, eventually, it will begin to feel like we are playing someone else's TF2 if these content packs are the new standard. Before I'm labeled as an anti-something and my social credit goes down, I'm in the offshore Discord. Do not harass anyone mentioned, and I must give credit where credit is due. A large amount of the items presented in there is of high quality, and the theme actually fits within TF2's tone. Some have uploaded their assets to be used by other map makers. It's not a lot, but it's something. Here we have this guy's first ever item that he's making for the workshop, and here comes a guy that's willing to help him. I just hope that the original guy is able to learn the item production process so that he's able to develop items on his own. There are people teaming up. Then we have other people offering critiques for some submissions on how they could be better. Even the maps. There have been consistent map playtests going on in there. I have no idea if the servers are populated and they are able to playtest them, but we'll see. I hope. Teaming up and getting work accomplished is not a bad thing. Don't forget, you and I are a fortress of teams too. Without groups coming together, we will be far behind in what we can do on our own, without people paving the way for us. However, I would soon trust the lone random individual than the group with the strongest influence of our items. We should be able to operate on our own terms, without anyone pulling the strings to influence us on what to operate on or what we get to consume. We may already be puppets, but we do not need anyone else influencing the stage. Is there a push to create something for a theme? Then if you're an artist, you'll go where your heart takes you, and the best of luck to you in having your efforts be recognized and awarded. If you're only in it for the money, then kudos! Green is good. I just hope that you aren't exploiting the community and the game any more than it needs to be. Just make sure that the money is clean. So what now? I made my voice known in several of my videos about me hating Valve's negligence about the game, and how the community is the future of the game. Now I'm criticizing these community-made updates. I might be labeled a doomer because of my whip and naysaying. What's gonna make me happy? I want to trust these fan updates. I want to trust the workshop. And I want to trust Valve and the TF2 YouTubers that have Reddit band kid humor. Actually, I don't care about them. However, I can't exactly do that, given my reasons as stated. I do not trust the hands that stir the TF2 pot. I just hope someone can open the community's eyes even wider on who is truly profiting off the game besides Valve. So what's the realistic thing I can hope for? I do not want Valve to encourage any more of these projects. Maybe the Tropic Crisis project was just a one-time fluke. Valve should allow the workshop to create whatever they want without having to follow a team's proposal influencing a large bulk of it. Valve should focus on a grab bag of quality hats and maps that fit the game. Yeah, Overgrown is in South America, but the damn map looks like it was made by MC Escher, with all of the paths and 50 doorways. I want organic items from the humble farmer, not heavily processed content from the 1%. If these projects do flourish in the future, then I can only hope that no one will abuse their new method of influencing Valve in the community. Since it wouldn't surprise me if any syndicates try to say I'm looking to kick up drama for views, my time when it comes to making TF2 content is limited. The game is turning 18 this year. A lot has been said and done. I just have some opinions. I want to focus on other video topics like food and 3D modeling in the future. TF2 gave me and my puppets life. It's about time for us to go out and live. However, there are a few more ideas and criticisms that I have with TF2. So until those ideas are said and done, I still want to create these stylized videos, as this is my way of creating art. I love my puppets, so I'm gonna give it my best. Unlike some barnacle heads. If you love my videos, please share them with your friends. Share them with your parents, you never know. I mean, seriously, there's probably someone's mom out there watching this right now. So thank you, and thank you to my patrons. Now that I criticized the TF2 Emporium and I painted Zesty Jesus in a good light, you know what that means? Oh shit. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Let it be known that I love myself, I have family and friends that love me, and I would never—
Stop being a bigot.
Oh god, no, I'm
You big, stink, bitch! Hey, it's me, Bloop. Forget everything that I just said and tell my mom I'm gay and alive. You should send more funding to the Emporium and make sure you upvote the Hot Twat. I'm gonna go play Overwatch now. Okay, bye.